to Press Max TV. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't checked out my last video on transgenderism, it's pretty interesting, so have a look. It's about Ellen Page and her quote-unquote transition to manhood, which is total bollocks, but check that out. Today, we are discussing the controversy at Eton College. So for those of you who don't know, Eton is an independent boys' school in England where it costs about 50 grand a year to send your child. Eton's history and influence make it one of the most prestigious schools in the world. Its alumni include 20 British prime ministers. So that's one school that's produced 20 prime ministers, the most in the world for presidents or prime ministers. Countless royal family members have attended Eton College, including Prince William and the Prince of Wokeness himself, Prince Harry. So needless to say, this is a very prestigious, extremely exclusive, highly selective, yada, yada, yada. It's basically a very posh school. So, what's all the controversy about? Well, a teacher recently, Mr. Noland, he's since been sacked, was let go for preparing a lecture which challenged the radical feminist orthodoxy being taught to the boys. He prepared this lecture online. It was never released to students, and to my mind was not at all controversial, but the headmaster at Eton saw it fit for him to be dismissed. So what was his great crime, I hear you ask? Well, apparently the headmaster felt that some of the ideas put forward in his lecture about, for example, the fact that men and women differ both physiologically and psychologically were not fit to be disseminated to the student population. So, look, anybody who knows anything about science knows that this is complete bollocks. Men and women are different both physiologically and psychologically. This has been proven over and over again, and we can see it with our own two eyes. We know what feminine traits are, we know what masculine traits are, we know what feminine genitalia is, and we know what masculine is. It's very simple. On a more detailed level, male brains are bigger than female brains, and the way the brains communicate with each other are different. So, of the two hemispheres, the left and the right, in a woman there's more crossover between the two. There's more ways the two hemispheres communicate with each other. The amygdala, which is a small almond-shaped object in the brain, it processes information and behaves in a different way in men than it does in women. The hippocampus in the brain behaves very differently in men than it does in women. And these differences, on a physiological level, on a chemical and hormonal level, manifest themselves in different personality traits, or different traits amongst the sexes, I should say. So, for example, men are better visual spatial awareness, women are better at communication, at comprehension, and this is shown in reading abilities in children, male and female children, with females consistently performing much better, and men performing better in other activities. So to say we are the same is very boring, very tiresome, and it's completely incorrect. So far so good. I can't see anything Mr. Noland has said which is wrong. I'll continue down. So essentially what he's done is he's basically said, look guys, there's a lot of stuff being spoken about toxic masculinity. There's a lot of stuff being said about how you need to close your legs and shut up and let women take the lead, how you're a bad man, all men are bad, it's okay to hate men, and now is the time of the woman. I think the future is female as a slogan I see banded around quite a lot. And essentially this guy said, look, the increase in life expectancy and the increase in quality of life enjoyed by women today is because of men and men's inventions and men's progress in science and technology. He's basically saying that all the world wars have been fought by men. Feminists will claim they've been caused by men. Some of that's true. and some of that's not true. It's not as clear and as simple as that. Firefighters, overwhelmingly male. Policemen, overwhelmingly male. Security guards, so on and so forth. And, look, does feminism have a cause to fight, or did it have a cause to fight? Of course it did. Women needed to vote. Women needed to have equal rights in the workplace. And those were fought for and have now been established, to the point now where men and women are equal under the law. Is there discrimination still? Possibly, yes. But is there discrimination against any type of person look, you can't stamp out all forms of discrimination. There will always be a form of discrimination, whether it's race, gender, height, weight, sex. Legally, these are all illegal. It doesn't stop a person from having bias. And no amount of law, legislation, positive discrimination is going to stop anybody from having bias. So we are equal under the law. So therefore, I don't know necessarily that there needs to be a massive third or fourth wave feminist movement, because to my mind, the objectives have been achieved. So Mr. Noland, he's doing a great job. He's giving these guys pride. He's making them feel proud to be male and reminding them of all of the inventions and successes and progress that men have made, which has made the world a better place. However, the headmaster at Eton has essentially sacked Mr. Noland for doing so, which is, it's unconscionable. Thankfully, the students are on Mr. Noland's side. 1,000 students have signed a petition to reinstate Mr. Noland. The parents are also on the teacher side, and I think they've started their own petition. And clearly, parents of the children at this school are going to be very influential, very wealthy, and hopefully they can bring that influence and power to bear and get this teacher his job back, because I can't see anything that he's done that is wrong. But finally, I'll end on this. If feminism really is about equality between men and women, third wave feminism, not, the feminism of the 70s and 80s, but this modern incarnation, if it really is about equality, I want to list off 10 issues that I think are pressing, that I think need to be addressed, and we'll see in the comments how the feminists feel about the issues that I'm about to address. So, number 1, 74% of primary and secondary school teachers in England are women, yet there is no push for equal representation in teaching, which is arguably one of the most important jobs in our society. Number 2, it has actually been proven that having a male teacher increases the efforts of female students, but having a female teacher decreases the efforts of male students. Again, we're seeing boys are at a disadvantage here. No efforts being made to redress this. Number 3, across 60 developed countries, girls receive higher marks than boys with the same ability because teachers are said to reward organizational skills, good behavior, and compliance traits more common in girls due to their biology. So again, number 3 kind of ties into number 1, because 74% of primary school teachers are female. Females are known, and this is proven, to have more in-group bias and in-group preference, which means they're more likely to side with their own, other women, rather than a man, for example. That's been proven, so look up the literature on that. Number 4, boys are 50% less likely than girls to meet basic proficiency standards in reading, maths, and science. Yet there is no big push to help boys in education, but rather the focus remains on girls. So we're all familiar with, get girls into engineering, get girls into maths, get girls into traditionally boys' subjects. However, biology is dominated by women. Medicine is dominated by women, or there is a large number of women in medicine. However, instances where there isn't that many men, for example, in teaching and nursing and other female-dominated spaces, there's just no push. And here, as we've seen, number 4, boys are 50% less likely than girls to meet basic proficiency standards in reading, maths, and science. Nobody cares. Number 5, boys are 3 times more likely to be expelled from schools than girls. And clearly, expulsion from school really at a critical time in your education. This is typically in secondary school at the age of 16, 17, just before university or college in America. This can really set your path, set you on a rocky road, essentially, and really change the course of your life, being expelled from school at such a critical age. And boys are 3 times more likely to be expelled. However, again, there's no investigation into why this is or how it could be remedied. Number 6, UCAS data reveals girls are 36% more likely to apply to university than boys. Again, no real push to redress this imbalance. Number 7, men receive 63% longer prison sentences on average than women for the same crime and for the same criminal history. So essentially, a man and a woman commit the same crime, they've committed the same crimes in the past, have the same rap sheet, and the man will receive a 63% longer sentence than the woman just because he's a man. Number 8, men are 3 times more likely to commit suicide than women. Number 9, 33% of men aged 20 to 34 have yet to leave home, compared with 20% of women in the same age range. Number 10, 97% of all workplace deaths are male, because men do all the dangerous jobs, such as logging, coal mining, electric power line worker, iron and steel worker, construction worker, so on and so forth. All these jobs are 90% plus male, and the feminists are not pushing for equal representation in these jobs because they want the air-conditioned, high-rise, corner office, panoramic view, powerful position in a financial institution or in a business institution, or maybe in the corridors of power in politics, and cushy, comfortable, well-paid, upper middle class, upper class type of jobs, white collar jobs, is where all of the focus of these feminists' energy is. They want women to be in power. The fact that 97% of all workplace deaths are male doesn't trouble them at all. The fact that the hard jobs, bin man, truck driver, street sweeper, the hard jobs that are essential for the successful running of our society, the fact that these jobs are all done pretty much exclusively by men, they don't care about that. The fact that all of these men, or men in all of these professions, account for 100% of the deaths in the workplace, they don't care about that. When was the last time you heard a feminist talk about that issue? So those are 10 issues. It took me about 10 minutes to Google around and to find these. And so when people say, why do we need an International Men's Day, or men should back off, it's women's time, and so on, women have always lived longer than men, and arguably have always had a better quality of life, because men's lives have been about sacrifice. Men's lives have been about work. Men's lives have been about providing. Men's lives have been about protecting. Men's lives have been about putting themselves on the line for their friends, for their family and their loved ones. So anyway, that's the end of the podcast. We'll wish Mr. Noland luck. I'll continue to follow the story, and I'll keep you updated. If you've enjoyed this segment, please subscribe, like, share, and comment. We are a new channel. We're emerging from the lockdown, and hopefully we'll grow to a good following and have more regular content for you coming forwards. Okay, thank you very much. See you soon.